Hey guys, Cheesette Cowan here, CEO of Real Estate. Excited to talk to you about a lot of great topics this quarter and just in general. I'm really going to kind of get into a lot of the systems that we talk about in our membership program and a lot of things that we work with our coaching clients on. And today, this video is going to talk about how to win and have better seller consultations. How to win and have better seller consultations. I know it seems counterintuitive to prepare for an appointment, but the first lever to having a great seller consultation is preparation. This is something that a lot of people miss because we're in this fly-by-night culture. Nobody really takes the time to perfect their craft, to grow, but that is how you get to success. The Bible calls it faithfulness, and it says that a faithful man will abound in blessings, and here's what that looks like. If I'm faithful over my business, that means I am committed to the growth that it takes in me and the growth that it takes to strategize to grow my business. And I'm faithful in that day in and day out. It's not just something that when I get a seller appointment, then I go practice how to be great for that. I'm preparing for the moment 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance. So the very first key to nailing a seller appointment is scripts. Sounds counterintuitive. A lot of people think that sales is something that you just are good at or you're not. Learning how to sell, learning how to be a sales professional is an acquired skill. It's a skill you learn. It is not a skill that you're born with. It is a skill that you develop. I always like to use Michael Jordan as an example. Michael Jordan wasn't born being a legacy basketball player. He became that through his consistency and action over time. It's a skill set that is developed. So I want you to understand that if you want to get better at sales, it is a skill set. You have to be intentional about developing your skill set in advance. One of the best and greatest ways to do that is with scripts. I have a script practice every day from 8:30 to 9, and I have for the last maybe 7 years. Every day I practice my scripts. I know what I'm going to say. The worst time to figure out what you're going to say in a sales scenario is at the moment that you're going to say it. You have to be scripted, you have to be strategic, and you have to be well thought out in advance. So the first thing is, what scripts are you practicing? And here's what scripts are going to do. Scripts are going to allow you to engage without having to use your brain. See, you want to get into a rhythm where you know how to keep the flow of the conversation into a certain direction. And then you'll be able to mirror that every time you meet with somebody. And the more times you do the same thing, you get great at it. It's time on task over time. I always tell people, if you started working at your job today and you drove home, it might take you 20 minutes. But after 5 years of the same commute, you can go home without thinking. You can go home probably not even in 20 minutes. It'll probably take you 14 now because you shave off a lot of time just because you're aware of where you're going. You're aware of the light flow. You're aware of the traffic patterns. You're aware to such a degree that that is what we call preparation. So the first thing is going to be scripts. The second thing is going to be understanding, and this is one of the greatest things that I teach on. I do personality-based profiling. You have to understand who your target person is. What kind of personality type do they have? Are they, and I use the DISC, so D-I-S-C. I am a high D. And when I say I am a high D, I only want the details. Tell me what you're going to do. Tell me how long you're going to take, and then get in and get out. If you come to me with a 30-minute presentation and think I'm going to sit through it, I'm just not. I only need the highlights because I make decisions very quickly. That's what drivers do. But here's the thing. If you get a high C, they're highly analytical. They want all the smoke. They want all the data. They want all your facts, all your numbers. They want you to check and cross-check your references. I'm not that person. Here's why I'm telling you this. If you're going on a seller appointment with a high D, you need to know that. And you need to prepare to be quick, in and out, highlights. This is what you're going to make. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to communicate with you. Boom, are you ready to sign? High Ds respect that. But if you go to a C, functioning like a high D, they're going to be like, you didn't give me any of the information that I needed to make a decision. I don't know this, I don't know that. And you have to almost be prepared for the different personality types. This is why the most important person that you can know in sales is yourself. If you start with understanding yourself, you'll understand how your personality will either complement or compete with another personality. For example, I'm a driver. I know that my personality competes naturally with C personalities. They want all the details. I don't like details. I have to prepare for a listing presentation with the C personality very different than I do with the D. Where with the D, I can kind of move in it because I'm fully functional in that, because that's my personality type. For a C, I kind of have to sit down and say, okay, what information am I giving them? Is there any background information that might make the information I'm presented more palatable to them? Will it give more details to them, because they want all the details and they don't feel like they are ready to make a decision without the full details. So I understand how I have to create a presentation for them, and I use the same presentation. I just maneuver through it differently. Likewise, if you have somebody that's a high I, that person is going to be more social. They'll engage you, but they may not sign with you. And here's the thing, you have to know how to engage them while still engaging in a sales-based transactional communication, because you're still trying to get them to make a decision. And here's the thing, preparing for objections with each of these. An objection is just an unanswered question in the mind of a seller, right? So now, if I know that an objection is going to come up, I need to be prepared in advance. You should never have to go when somebody asks you about your professional fee, or what we call commission. You should never have to go because you should already have that already canned response, because you know that this is something that comes up. Part of what I help agents understand is, if you look at the rhythm of your business, if you look at the rhythm of a sales consultation, if you look at the rhythm of a communication with a client, typically you'll see a lot of the same markers. You'll see a lot of the things repeat themselves. And I said, if it's repeatable or it's predictable, it's preventable. That means if you know that somebody's going to ask you about price, you should already have something already down. If you know that somebody's going to ask you, how much am I going to net from the sale of my home, you should go into that presentation with a seller net sheet. Certain things, if we would just slow down a little bit, will really help us really grow our businesses. And this is some of the things that we talk about in the membership. We release content to the members every week, and we go through it with them in a slow form, because my goal is to help you build strategy. Because strategy, and I'll say this over and over again, is what wins games, not activity. Activity is necessary so that you can have enough time on task over time to develop your strategy, but strategy is really what we're after. It's the activity that leads us to have enough information and data so we can develop the strategy. So with working with sellers and winning more consultations, scripting, understanding your target person, who the person that you're talking to is, and the last one is going to be, and I already said this, but understanding yourself. You have to understand your limitations, your strengths, and your weaknesses, and I do everything I can to function in my strength zone. I coach people to do everything they can to function in their strength zone, because all of our strengths are not the same. I am not going to, and I'm very clear about that, I'm not going to win every single customer. Some customers are just not going to connect with me. Some customers I may not connect with, but I can be very strategic in understanding who I am, who they are, and then what needs to be said to get them to make a decision in favor of listing or selling their home with me. So I want you to understand that what I'm showing you is something that is not something that you're going to just wake up and do tomorrow and be done at it. It's something that you're going to work toward, you're going to begin to develop. And scripting, every single day, you should be scripting. You should be knowing exactly what you're going to say. You should be able to, I have a presentation that I go through with my sellers, and I've created the presentation. I only go through that presentation during the listing. Now, here's the thing. The way I go through it, the way I present it is different based on who I'm in front of. But understand that that is a script. My listing presentation is essentially a script. And what I'm saying to you is, if you want to win more seller business, you have to be intentional about what you're doing on the back end. If you are not in our membership program, if you are looking for a community that can really help you put some strategy around your businesses so you can take it to the next level, you're not going to accidentally get to your next level. Let's be very clear about that. You're not going to accidentally get to your next level. Your next level is going to be a production or result of the strategy that you put in front of it. And a lot of times, because we're not putting any thought into what we're doing, we never make it to the next level. I don't want that for real estate agents, because I know that this profession is one that can change your life. It can change the life of generations to come in your family if you will allow it to. If we will make the commitment to being strategic, and I know you can do it, and I know I can help. My name is Cheesette Cowan, the CEO of Real Estate. I'm putting the membership link information here. If you are looking to make an investment in yourself, in your business, so that you can grow, I'd love to have that conversation with you. I'd love to welcome you to the CEO community.